Do you like big news? I like big news. Do you like big news?
I love big news.
Big news. If you like big news, this is a show for you and basketball because this is LidLine Sports. Hey, welcome back, everybody. LidLine Sports right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. I am your boy, Pepe Bean, cha-cha-cha. Remember that commercial back in the day?
Cha-cha-cha.
Yes. And I'm Pep, MC, Mr. Michael Carter. And, of course, that guy down in Cali, Otis Stevenson. What's happening, O?
What's good, fellas? How you guys doing?
Don't beef it up. He's in Sacramento, man.
It's still Cali,
Yeah,
man.
but that's
And it's
Sacramento.
of California.
That's
at that.
Don't talk about my city, man. Don't talk about my
Boston City.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
city.
Sacramento besides the desert, man.
Oh, well,
Oh, you got
it's getting hot as one. I'll tell you that. It's getting
What's
hot
that?
as one. I said it's getting as hot as the desert right now. I'll
Oh,
tell you
yeah.
that.
well, you could have said, well, at least we got an NBA team.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
I only got 4 more years of saying that though now.
not for long.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, anyway, we promised big news, and we got some big news.
Big news.
First of all, the first big news I want to get into real quick, JSN's got his extension. So after this season, he will start getting paid 42 million per, according to reports.
Guaranteed 128 million.
Yes, man, that is
Highest paid receiver in the league.
history
Mhm.
for wide receiver. Definitely glad that it happened right now. The Seahawks took care of him. They avoided the drama of,
I don't think they would have drama. I'm gonna.
no, I'm
interject.
just saying,
because he was satisfied. He wasn't going nowhere. He turned down other offers. He's loyal. He said, "We'll work it out, whatever it's going to be." It will do this, though. To your point, it will alleviate any stirred up mess that media and people start during the season. So that takes that all out the picture.
Well, yeah,
And they could just focus on other things.
yeah, he's locked in, so we're good with that. Also, good news for most people. Jake Bobo is also staying. The Seahawks will match the Jaguars' offer of 2 years, $5 million.
Yep.
For Jake Bobo to stay as a Seattle Seahawk, which is I think which is good because I personally like him. Not so much because we know that he's not prolific in catching passes, but they don't throw to him. He's only caught 3 balls in the 3 years he's been here. 36. I'm sorry, balls in.
He does a lot of other things.
He does
Mhm.
a lot of other things. He did catch a touchdown in the NFC Championship game.
Say that again.
And his blocking is what is key. He's a great blocker, and he's great on special teams. So those two things right there really solidify his mark here in Seattle. And of course, he's a fan favorite anyway. So
He's a big fan favorite, and he plus his attitude. When the Jags gave him the offer, he said, "Hey, I have nothing but love for the Seahawks. Opportunity pays itself. Whatever happens, it happens. It was meant to be. All I do is play the game." And he said, "I think I set myself up for a payday, but it all work out. And I think the Seahawks will do right. But if they don't, I still love them, and they gave me the opportunity to do this. And bam, look what happened. They want players like that with the mentality of like." Not the mentality like Reek Williams had, like "F you, if you're not with me, then F you," and all that negativity. Let's just focus on your position and playing football and get rid of all the drama stuff. I love that. So,
what's your thoughts on JSN and Jake Bobo?
I mean, JSN. It was proven that he was worth it, and he proved it. So. Look, we all know that once you get a Super Bowl next to your name, you're due in line for some money. Now, him being a younger player, You want to get him paid and you want to lock him up, just like MC said. You don't even want there to be any type of rumor, drama, any slight opening of something not getting done between the Seahawks and JSN. So I'm glad that Seahawks closed the door on that. And yeah, Kobo, for me, great blocking running back, and it's great to bring in back those role playing pieces that helps you win a Super Bowl. So yeah, those are both two good wins for the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are going to take the road of bringing back what got them there, and they're going to run this shit back, as we clearly see.
Yeah.
And it helps out a lot. Let me tell you why I think it helps out a lot. What happens when a team shows that you do good, you be the type of player we need, we're going to reward you. So what does that show other players, whether they're rookies trying to get drafted or veterans that just want to be on a good team? It shows them, dang, I still got some juice in the tank. If I can go to them, take a little bit less and perform, they might make it worth my while, and I might win a ring. That's how you bring in those heavyweights and those good players, bam, 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 So I think it's an overall good thing, and I see more coming.
Yeah,
I see more coming.
Yeah.
I found it interesting this morning. I was listening on radio, and of course, while I was listening, they were focusing on the LA Rams. LA Rams have been the big focus of this offseason for some reason, of course. And the Seahawks have been an afterthought, but you know what? That's what it is up here in Pacific Northwest. Seattle is always an afterthought, whether it's the Seahawks, Mariners, whatever team is rolling, it don't matter. We're still an afterthought in the rest of the country's mind. And that's fine. But I find it funny how they were so hyping up the Rams and talking about Trent McDuffie coming there from Kansas City, and then they got Kansas City's other cornerback, Jalen Watson, to come there. And see now they've done that to counteract the Seahawks, which is pretty much a compliment to the Seattle Seahawks, that you got the LA Rams making moves to deal with them. Well, here's my thought. I'm like, oh, well, how did Kansas City do in the playoffs this year with those two guys? Oh, okay. All right. So you could be hyped up about them all you want to. But the fact of the matter is, Kansas City did nothing last year with those guys. They got burnt in their own division by Denver, who had mediocre wide receivers. So, okay, if you're all hyped up about McDuffie and Jalen Watson, I'll still take what we have in Shaheed and JSN and Cup and AJ Barner, all them cats. I'll take them. So I'm happy with them.
And let me answer a question real quick. Rhonda was asking who is the defensive coordinator. He's the same defensive coordinator they hired in 2024. If you really want to know, though, the coach, Mike McDonald, is basically the defensive coordinator because that's where he came from as Baltimore. He's a head coach, but he's a defensive-minded coach. But he does have a great coordinator. And
Aiden Dirty.
Yeah, Aiden Dirty. And Aiden Dirty, since coming with the Seahawks in 2024, he's done some great things with the defense.
Yeah.
And that's under the tutelage of Mike McDonald. But still Mike's giving him some reign to do what he needs to do. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
People, so, I'm not too hung up on who the Seahawks have already lost in Mafe and Kobe Bryant and Reek Woolen. Kobe, I think is a big loss. I think he's the biggest loss.
Yes,
because he's such a versatile guy. He played cornerback, he played safety, and he was solid. Reek Woolen was good, but he let his head get in the way too much, and then
inconsistent.
Yeah, and it cost us. It could have cost us severely. But we were fortunate it didn't. And Boye Mafe was good, but he wasn't great. He wasn't significant. We could do fine without him. And a lot of times he had done fine without him. So I'm not so
they'll fill those holes.
Yeah, I'm not even
for sure.
At all.
John Snyder and Coach McDonald will fill those holes.
Yep.
And you probably won't even notice those players that are missing. Now that is a big one. that you, like you said, he is a big one, and he was versatile as a
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant as the safety.
Well, he's going to be with the Bears, so we're going to find out.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's going to be a big asset.
Yeah,
for the
well,
Bears.
we will. I believe he will, but we will find out.
Yeah, because we have to play.
Yep. Well, not only that, but it's sometimes it's the system.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And now the Bears look like they might have a good system, but the Bears have an offensive coach.
Right.
Ben Johnson is not a defensive coach.
Right.
He's brought there to take that offense to a different level, just like McDonald was brought here to bring our defense to a different level.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of defense the Bears play when they have Kobe Bryant in there.
Let me give you an example before Otis speaks real quick. So you got look at teams like Kansas City, right? Their coach is a great coach, right? Great coach. He's done a lot of good things, but without the players, it's showing that it's not healthy. He needs more than that, right? And the coaching staff, when you lose some specific coaching staff, it shows. Even though he's a great coach and he still has Mahomes, what's happened to him the last 2 years, right? So you got teams like that you look at and be like, it's that. My point is getting to it's the system. You're right, because you could take a player like Tyreek Hill from Kansas City who was killing, put him in the Dolphins system, and he's just Tyreek Hill. Or you could do that with some other players too that were really good players for the team that they want, and whether they wanted their bag or they just wanted to get out and test the waters. And what happened? Nothing. You don't hear of them no more. So it is huge on the system, and I think we got a huge system going on right now with the Seahawks. They're building something very, very special. And if they win the Super Bowl again, trust me, they'll be losing a couple more coaches and players. It's just the nature of the beast when you win the Super Bowl, but the thing is, can you retool without losing some of your main core players? And that's why it's important for them to do what they did. They hired Bobo, they re-signed JSN, and they got a lot of young players who I think will want to say, hey, man, let's ride this out. We might get 2-3 wings riding this out, if they go back again this year.
And don't forget, Riley Mills.
Wait, I said this after me. I said, Otis.
You said it. You said it all, MC. You
said
it all. No, you said it all.
Remember, I'm 1, you 2. You don't go back to 2 and then 1.
I'm just waiting patiently for some basketball, man. I'm just waiting patiently for some basketball.
I know you wait for your turn, basketball, baby. Yeah. And real soon, we're about to end this.
Yeah, real quick. So I'm glad you mentioned Kansas City because they brought back Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. You're supposed to back me, dude. I was trying to speak up for you, and now you play. I'm just waiting patiently for basketball. I'm giving you a shine, man. Oh Lord!
No, hey, man, I love listening to you too when you guys get into when it comes to football, man.
I'll give you a break because you're in Sacktown. That's all right.
So anyway, yeah. So other big news, of course, is opening day for the Mariners.
I was gonna say, I know we got some basketball to talk about, but there is no way we are not talking Mariners baseball.
I'm going on Saturday
for some of the show. Okay,
I'm going on Saturday. My son bought me.
That's what I'm excited for.
He bought me club seats, I think.
Probably,
yeah, for my birthday.
Those are nice.
I like nice.
Those are my favorite seats.
He spent a lot of money in his Cow's bobble. Yeah, his bobblehead night for him, but he let me pick out the game and the date, and it was a birthday gift for me. So I said, me and son.
I want to take something back that I said.
What's that?
You guys, I think it was Pep who asked, "Is this the most anticipated year in Mariners history?" This is. And I say that because of what was done last year. Everybody was retained and brought back.
Except for,
I think, besides Eugenio. And what's his name? Who's the second baseman?
Polanco.
Right. But I'm loving what I am seeing and the numbers from Cole Young.
Yes.
The guy's a gamer. He is ready to go. So I think that is a hole that will be filled in the infield for not just the short term, the long term. And we all know the aggressive stance the Mariners front office plays at the trade deadline. I'm watching all the odds for the World Series and all of that. Mariners are top four, top five, and all
Yep.
of those. And
And
look, it's hard for me to keep trying to shy away back and allowing anticipation to build when it's already been built. The the um the expectations are there, and there's no more meeting anymore. It's now time to succeed, and that's not just expected from just Seattle. That's what's expected from the MLB now.
Yep.
This is now 2 years in a row that the Mariners kind of had high hopes of competing. Last year was different. It was more so taking that turn of making a playoff run. This year, they have, I think, the second best odds outside of the Yankees to make it to the World Series and winning it. And you see, there's a lot of players that you're expecting big years out of, and I'll keep saying his name over and over, and that's Julio Rodriguez to lead this squad. I'm a little, I'm a little mum on Cal Raleigh, and that's because that's just really tough to reenact a season like that, especially as a power hitter. We also know what he did towards the second half of the season. He got back to kind of that old form of swing and misses, strikeouts, power hits, home runs. And also, he didn't have a good World Baseball Classic showing. I'm not going to try to put much into that, but like I said, I'm not necessarily worried about Cal, but I'm not going to put as much expectation on Cal to have the type of season that he had last year. Now, nonetheless, I expect 35 to plus 40 plus home runs, 100 plus RBIs. I just hope that he can bat closer to 250 than to 220, 218, which is what I think he ended the season with last year when he was hitting like 260 before going into the All-Star break. So um, we know the first three pitchers, and I'm okay with it. Logan Gilbert will be opening, followed by George Kirby, then with Brian Wu. I thought Brian Wu was opening, but you think about the long run. Brian Wu has had a past injury history, and then we also know he did not end the season. He did not end the season or the playoffs last year. That can't happen. We need him for the whole season. I'm okay with the Mariners kind of taking light on him to start off this season. But yeah, man, it's all going. It's time to lock in now. And you're right. This is the most anticipated Mariners season in franchise history for sure.
yes, and I like the fact that they've got a table setter to lead off in Brendan Donovan. I
Yes.
expect big things from him. He's had a pretty good spring. He's hit a couple of leadoff bombs. He gets on base on a regular basis, and that's what we need right off the bat. We need a guy that is going to get on base, cause a problem on the base pass, so guys like Julio and Cal can drive them in. And that's what they've been missing. They've been missing that table setter. So now that we've got one, and so
let me ask you guys a question real quick.
mm-hmm.
So how much are you worried that JP Crawford's out, not going to start because of his shoulder? I guess he got an injection and he's having sore. And then the other thing was they're not sure who's going to start at second base yet. So how high are you guys worried about that?
I'm not too. Go ahead, Pep.
You go ahead, O. Good.
I'm not too mum on JP Crawford. I mean, of course you're gonna miss that veteran presence until he comes back. But I think we have a bevy of infielders from our farm and young guys who can fill that role just fine. We know,
Leo Rivas. He's
yeah,
a proof.
exactly.
So.
Of course, you want him to get healthy, and hopefully his bat's a little more consistent himself this year. We know what JP Crawford is capable of when he's playing at a high level. What was the other question again?
He was talking about second base.
Yeah, second base.
I think Cole Young's going to be the guy, right?
Yeah, I don't see why that is It's not, but I get it. There's a lot of, like I said, I think that's more also a compliment to how many good young infielders that we do have. If it's been made hard by Leo Rivas and Cole Young and Williamson, like there's a whole bunch of young players. So,
Yeah,
but
they also have Ryan Bliss too.
Well,
Ryan Bliss, yeah,
I asked that question because I was listening to the manager on sports radio, and they're not sure yet. So they said they're gonna test the waters a little bit to see, he kind of was saying what you were saying, that they think they got enough to players to find somebody when needed. And for me, I just every year, what I worry about pitching. I wasn't
Yep.
worried about Crawford or the second baseman, because you can always find, like you said, a utility player or somebody who's young and hungry that wants to step up and play. For me, it's the key is having two good starters, a closer, and
relievers.
the rest of the pitchers that just come in and do their job. That's what you need.
That's my biggest worry. Look, those first three pitchers I named, lights out when they're on the mound, more than not. You're talking about guys who are consistently 15 to 16 game winners
Mhm.
every year. Look, we've seen Castillo get off the hot starts, then slow down. We've seen Castillo just be so consistent,
Well,
inconsistent.
today, thank goodness.
Yeah. And then, but it's also great to have him as veteran, as the veteran guy, the fourth guy. At the end of the day, he is a 3.5 ERA type of guy. That's great for a fourth pitcher. And then, yes, the fifth pitcher. Who will that be? And I think it will be, a rotating spot for the next couple of months to find out. Well, you do have Bryce Miller. I forgot all about him, so never mind. Bryce Miller should be the guy.
Is he going to be ready for?
That's the question. Yeah. He was somebody who was injured a lot. I don't know if he's pitched in the preseason
Right.
or not.
What about Wu?
Third.
Who's third? And like I said, I think that's a lot to do with his health.
Yeah, injury wise, is
Well,
anybody?
we'll find out.
Yeah.
I hope, like we all know that Wu is a 1-2 starter in a lot of rotations, healthy. But
Yep.
that's the big question: is his health over the last 2 years.
I mean, if you look at the Mariners rotation, man, it's formidable. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
there's, unless you're LA Dodgers on your chest, you're not going to have too many better than that.
Yeah, I forgot about Miller. Yeah,
Gilbert,
for sure.
Kirby, Wu, Gilbert, Kirby, Wu, Castillo, Miller. That's a nice starting five right there as far as pitching every 5 days. And then, of course, you got young cats like Cade Anderson in the wings. Is going to be lurking towards the middle of the season, I'm sure, which is a good thing. And, of course, our bullpen with Matt Brash, still being solid.
Pizarro.
You got Munoz, Bizarro, and Munoz. So, they're pitching on paper. I want to clear that up.
Yeah, clean.
Looks as solid as any rotation out there. So that's why the Mariners are so highly thought of. Now they're getting national love. You got Dipoto that was on MLB Network today. And so most of the pundits are now predicting the Mariners, as you said before, to be in the top 3-4 in baseball, not just American League, but in baseball as far as odds to make it to the World Series. And, this has never been the case. This is new territory. So I'd like to see it come to fruition for us. Get a good hot start, stay steady in the middle, and then end hot.
That's what I was going to say next. And my biggest thing for the last 2-3 years, can they put together a full season? And yes, baseball's a little longer, so you're going to have your gaps of not playing well. But we know the Mariners, their gaps are pretty big of going on bad streaks. Well, we saw them at 8 games above the Houston Astros. They squandered that lead, then had to fight and make a run, then got back in and pretty much held on to that lead. I would love to see them take off fast, get a good solid start over the AL West, and also hold on to that lead. And like I said, I know 162 games is a lot,
If
but
they
it'd be
would,
nice.
yeah, if they would have did what you just stated, Otis, if they would have just had a formidable these big gaps where they have these down. If they would have just had last season, if they would have just, I think they by them playing the way they did, it burnt them out enough where they lost a little bit of gas in that series. And if they would have had a little bit more in the tank, they would have won that series and been in the
Agree.
I was gonna say Super Bowl in the World Series, but I think they how I always say when I talk to you guys, I said, man, did they shoot their wad? I think they shot their wad, but they had enough just to get to where they got to. But when it came down to having that little bit of extra in that last game, they didn't have it, and they probably utilized it in a previous game to get where they're at. So
Agreed.
if they go out and have a good
the problem
season,
is, during the season they had a lot of pitching injuries,
right?
And even the pitchers that were healthy didn't have the seasons we thought they would have,
Right.
And hopefully that won't happen this season. Pitching injuries do happen, so I expect every now and then Wu, Gilbert, somebody's going to miss a start or two or whatever. Let's just hope it's not every other guy getting hurt, and let's get what we need is consistency. Look, when you're going when you go to on the road or at home and you lose one or two in a row, then you should have a guy that can come in and stop that. And that's why you have to have a solid rotation to stop those losing streaks. You might even your star pitcher might have a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
We know that.
He will.
But the next guy over, he can't have a bad day. So, if we can curtail a lot of those, they'll be, right where they need to be.
If they stay healthy though, they'll do
that's
good.
Key.
That's very
sure.
key.
That's very key.
Yeah, that's key for everybody. You gotta be healthy.
But more so Seahawks, more so the Mariners, because it seemed like the injury bug bites them right when we don't want it to happen, So
yep. All right. So when we get back, we're gonna get heavy into some basketball, and then we got some more big news to tell you because this is the big news show. Woo! So don't go away. We'll be right back.
That's nice.
Rainier Avenue.
Ladies and gentlemen. Speak Up Seattle. We are Rainier Avenue Radio.world, the station that cares.
Don't ever forget.
Buying a home isn't just a purchase, it's a legacy move. Maybe you're just starting your home ownership journey, or maybe you're a homeowner who's fallen behind on your mortgage, property taxes, or HOA dues. Wherever you are on your path, Washington Home Ownership Resource Center connects you to trusted guidance every step of the way. Vetted resources, trusted referrals, real support. If homeownership is your goal or you're trying to protect the home you already have, don't face it alone. Visit homeownership-wa.org or call the Homeownership Hotline at 877-894-4663 today. The Washington Home Ownership Resource Center, educating and empowering future and current homeowners in Washington State.
Happy Hump Day. We're excited that you decided to join us for the party. Fresh Juice is live Wednesday night, 9 to 11 p.m. Pacific time on Seattle's Rainier Avenue Radio with the Juice Pack, including me, Superstar TK, Pine Size Patron, and D-Money. We're going to chop it up with some cool people, play some really dope new hip-hop and R&B music, some games, and maybe even a live performance. Lock us in right now on Fresh Juice YouTube page at youtube.com/@Fresh Juice Media or subscribe to us on Spotify or Apple Music. Fresh Juice.
Turn up your radio wherever you at. We about to bring it.
Street Beat.
Yeah.
With Tony B.
Tony B will give you a chance to tackle local, national, and international issues that affect your community.
Street Beat. Street Beat. Who, Tony?
Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. What is generational wealth? We asked our communities, and this is what they had to say.
To me, generational wealth means access to joy. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it can buy a lot of things that make it easier. I find that when your basic needs are met, it's a lot easier to work on other things. Like even for myself as an artist, like I'm not the best creative, I'm not the best artist when my basic needs aren't being met, and not having to worry about that for yourself, but also for the people closest to you, like your loved ones. To me, that's the beauty of generational wealth. To me, generational wealth is community. It's being able to talk to people and figure out what they need and help them. I feel like especially in Seattle,
This campaign to create awareness to generational wealth is brought to you by the Department of Neighborhood's Generational Wealth Initiative, the Washington Housing Finance Commission, and Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update.
Hello, folks. Don't procrastinate. Donate to Rainier Avenue Radio on Venmo at Rainier Avenue Radio or online at RainierAvenueRadio.world/donate. And also, Earth Deserves More Than a Day is a month away. It's a month away, bringing a week of environmental justice programming on Rainier Avenue Radio from April 20th to April 25th.
Sweet. All right, so we promised big news. We gave you some big news, and of course, the biggest news that generated last week on Pep O is in the California, and you got my man Michael Carter, better known as MC, right next to me. But anyway, the big news that came about in the middle of last week was
that was a rhyme. MC next to me.
Yes,
do it.
But anyway, so the big news was that the NBA Board of Governors are going to take a vote on the probably tomorrow. They said 23rd, 24th, somewhere around that time. So tomorrow's the 24th. That the Las Vegas and Seattle are the two teams that the NBA is particularly and exclusively looking at right now as to joining the 30-team league to make it 32. Oh, do you think this is a formality?
Yeah. Like I said, everything is starting to take shape. And like I said, this is going to be a process. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. But especially this summer, you're going to start hearing even bigger news. You're going to start seeing it format. And I believe by the summer of 2027, everything will be lined up, as in teams will already be outright owned. The cities will be named, which will already be Las Vegas and Seattle. Rules will start being in effect and changed. Conferences will align. But this is going to be, I think, a really long year process of figuring out, not just figuring out what it looks like, but putting it on paper now and executing a plan. We heard news out of the Kraken ownership that they assumed majority ownership of Climate Pledge Arena.
Yes.
That is really big news, as the ownership, who was led by Samantha Holloway, they're gearing up to bid for a team to be put in Seattle. They already have the arena.
They formed a One Roof Sports and Entertainment group.
Just opening up more money for them to be able to make a bid.
I hope to be Debbie Down. I hate to be Debbie Downer, but I don't. I hope the Kraken don't have anything to do with the ownership of the Sonics.
Why is that?
Because when people of Seattle get a hold of something, they destroy it. Meaning, you can't. Neither one of you and the people in the audience can't sit here and tell me that back when the Hanson had the opportunity to build the arena down where the arenas are already at, the stadium, the new stadium down there on Occidental, when he was going to build it down there, pay for it out of his pocket, plus he was going to pay to help the rebuild Climate Pledge to a venue for concerts and theater and so forth. And he was going to take no money out of the taxpayer's pocket. But when the owner of the monorail, who was buddies with the Port of Seattle, and they all got together, every time we've had somebody that had some part of Seattle with their hand in the pot, they got destroyed. Sonics, when they brought in Wally Walker, what happened? Destroyed the organization. Sonics, when they rebuilt the Coliseum and the NBA told them, no, you need to do more than remodel Key Arena. You need to rebuild it. We need something more. And what do they say? Oh, we don't need to. When you put people in positions like that, they're thinking about the bottom dollar for themselves, not what the fans and what everybody else wants. So, I mean, it's good that they have that, but I hope it's somebody else who buys a team.
So what are you looking for in the owner for the next Seattle Sonics?
In the owner?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for somebody who doesn't have the city of Seattle breathing down their neck and pushing them to do things that they don't want to do, things that things that aren't conducive to helping the team be a better team. When you have the city of Seattle, and it's proven, the city of Seattle is run by a bunch of dummies. I hate to say it, it's a bunch of dummies in there, and they do so many dumb things to our city. Look, how much is gas in Sacramento? I just want to ask you this real quick.
I want to say it's hit $6.
$6? So it's not the same, but at its low, it was pretty low, right?
Nah, it's pretty expensive out here.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
there's other places that I see people posting, and their gas like $3, $3.50, $4. It's higher now because of the war, but when we were paying for something, they were down to the $3s, almost to $2s. That's because the city of Seattle implemented a gas tax for us to pay so they can make more money, just like they did this millionaires tax. The city's always doing some dumb stuff, and then you got people like Boeing, Starbucks are pulling out, left and right, because the city they're all about greed for themselves and not to make us happy. That's why Debbie Downer on that. I'm happy that it's coming. I think you're right 100% that it's all a formality now. They're just going through the motions, and they're getting it on paper to what's going to happen. It is going to be Sonics in Vegas, I'm pretty sure. And it just got to play out. It's just got to go through the motions, and it's just the way things are. Because they also have a lot to do. It also has a lot to do with, they know that bringing in Vegas and the Sonics, Seattle, that they have to move another team. So they have to work that out too. And they figure out all that. So it's not just bringing in 2 teams and then that's it. They got a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, they're going to move. Of course, it's between Memphis and Minnesota, and of course, if you look at a map, it's logic. It should be Memphis. However, I'm hearing it might be Minnesota because they want to put Minnesota with Milwaukee, Chicago, Indiana. That
division. Yeah.
Minnesota. Yeah,
I've seen that too. Yeah.
So. I don't know. I mean,
that's why I'm saying they got to work all that out.
They do some dumb stuff to me.
Otis knows.
I still remember, bro. You probably don't know this, but I remember when the Atlanta Falcons were in the NFC West. Can you?
I remember you just told me that last week. Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So come on, but it's crazy. So anyway, but I'll believe it when I hear it to be true. I know that the governor, Bob Ferguson, was supposed to have met with Adam Silver today. I haven't heard any feedback on that. Have you heard anything about that? Oh,
no, I haven't. But I do want to. There's one thing that I do believe that does also need to happen before we even move forward with expansion. Because, like I said, it's inevitable. It is happening. The competition from 1 through 30 needs to be aligned. It has gotten far away from that over the last 5 years, I believe. We are seeing the last quarter of the season should be teams making a long run to get playoff position, guys trying to win team or individual awards We're not seeing that. We're seeing a bunch of non-ethical playing for nothing basketball. You're pretty much seeing if you're playing the Wizards, the Brooklyn Nets, the Utah Jazz, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Chicago Bulls. I'm probably missing two other teams. It's an automatic win in your schedule, and it's not just automatic. You're almost winning by 30 or 40, and that's a third, almost that's a quarter of the NBA right in that team. Those many teams I just named. That cannot be like that, and a lot of it is to do with teams vying for position for the draft. You try the draft lottery. These teams still don't care about that. Time to move and find something else to make this league competitive for 82 games. We can hear the Steve Kerrs and the LeBron James and everybody knock the 82 games. It's more so that they need to find ways to make 82 games competitive again. Not 60, not 70, not the first half of the season and then chill for a little bit before All-Star break and then try to push. And then when you know you're not in the playoffs, we're not playing for the last 15 games. It can't be that.
They need to knock the schedule down, but they're not going to do it because of revenue.
And that's fair. That's not fair. And I think that's like an excuse because we've seen it time in after time out of an 82 game season and no issue. So I get it. It's adjusting to the new times and whatnot, but we also need to implement
75. I think you'll have less load management issues.
Will we though?
I think
will they just adapt and still find ways to sit?
Yeah, you could be right, but I think they need to try something because 82 games. I don't know. I mean, the last 10, 15 games is trash.
Yeah, the season's been over. So
if you knock it down to 70, 75, or 72 to 75, there'll be less trash at the end, I would think.
But by then, because by then we already know who's going to the playoffs, who's not.
Maybe. But it's just sad that we gotta knock off
because Players Association will not go for that.
Yeah.
They're not going to be knocking down checks for that.
Yep.
I get that. So I'm just saying, but if it's supposed to be for the fans, you want to give the fans the best product. Well, the best product is probably to give them less on a regular season and more for playoffs. But whatever.
Let's other breaking big news too, though.
What's that?
The WNBA signed. They
Right.
The ladies are getting paid, and they got big. I think the minimum amount is $500,000. I think for the minimum amount that's huge. So let's give the WNBA ladies a shout out.
Yes, happy for them.
They got their money. The max is 1.2, and it sounds like we're gonna see or 1.4, one of the two, and we're gonna see the best player in the WNBA sign that max deal. And Aja Wilson for the Las Vegas Aces. She's free agent. She's already said she's going to sign that max deal to return back to the Aces. Sounds like maybe a 2-year deal. So that is going to be so historic to see her sign that max deal and her get 7 figures for the first time ever in WNBA history. And look, there's going to be following out behind the WNBA. This is not just a one-trick pony where everybody's talking about the WNBA because of old girl from the Pace or from the Fever and those guys. There's some real players coming into the WNBA.
Miles out there, you got Juju still out
exactly.
there.
I was gonna say,
but you know what else is going?
Hannah Hidalgo. We got some players.
You know what else is going to do to your point, Otis? Now you got little girls and you got families that are telling them little girls, look, you can make good money.
You make good money.
And it's going to start at that lower level, and it's going to go like wildfire. Watch, I guarantee you.
And there's a name that, I mean, yes, we know as, basketball guys and whatnot. And of course, I think a lot of the basketball world knows, but I haven't really heard the name being mentioned too much, but he deserves a lot of credit to what has gone on in the basketball world over the last 6 years. And that's Kobe Bryant, who's really put a lot of time, sweat, and tears into the AAU world and developing girls basketball. And it's sad he didn't get to see what's happening today, but he really put a lot into girls basketball once he retired. He had his little girls playing basketball, but he would really be proud to see what's happened in the WNBA. And I think he was a big part of, I think, the real first true NBA superstar to really back the WNBA, the women's basketball players from and the WNBA all the way down to the amateur sports as well. So I want to give him his flowers for what he did for women's basketball over these last 10 years for sure.
I agree.
Yep.
I that was well timed.
All right, so we're well into March, and you know what's happening right now? The madness. We got to get into it real quick.
Yes,
We
sir.
can't neglect it. I've been watching. I don't have a rooting interest for anybody. I'm just loving and laughing because Kentucky's out, North Carolina's out, Kansas is out, Florida, you're out. I'm loving that. I like to see Nebraska. I'm loving to see Iowa. I'm liking to see Alabama, even though the idiot second best player got arrested last week, with drugs in the car or whatever it was.
2 pounds.
Yeah.
2 pounds.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's just recreational. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. all right.
They had much more evidence than that it wasn't.
Yeah, but Alabama's rolling. Arkansas, that freshman Acuff is dynamite. I had never heard of him until this week.
Oh, you haven't? Ooh,
Yeah.
He's a bad man.
I forgot DJ Wagner was on the team. Such hype as DJ Wagner had coming out of high school, he got his job took like that.
Oh, yeah.
Acuff, that dude is, man, he's like Iverson. He is just unstoppable.
Look, I talk about, all the tanking that's going on, especially right now in the NBA. To the credit of taking advantage of it, there's some really good freshmen coming out of this class, and very rightfully so. You give me the opportunity to honestly tank, I may do it for this draft class as well. There is about 9 to 10 freshmen that can really go and can all be game changers for them. And you just said it, starting with Acuff out of Arkansas. You got DeBonsa, who I know BYU lost in the first round. You got Cam Boozer.
Forward, I forgot his name, unfortunately, but he's also a freshman and was bald. I'm like, man, they got some shoes.
Yeah, there's some really good freshmen. I did want to give a shout out. There's a couple assistant coaches that were in the tournament. Peyton Siva, or Franklin's own. He was with Louisville, and then a good friend of mine, Choki Makobu, with Texas Tech. He's the top assistant there. They just took a bad loss. So we did have some Seattle guys out there just not playing.
He didn't have a good shooting night.
No.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate. Speaking of Seattle U played in the NIT. They gave Auburn all they could handle in losing 91-85. I watched part of that game. They was balling. They was not giving up. So
They're 2 years away, man. They're 2 years away from being on this stage.
They should be in the tournament real soon. I mean, they look better than the big boys. UW supposed to be.
No, you're right.
Come on, man. I mean, Sprinkle, what are you doing? Seriously.
So with what we got left in the tournament, I mean, I think we all know the biggest surprise. I think we all can agree. Iowa beating Florida, making it to the Sweet 16. Do we all agree there?
Yep. Nebraska is a Cinderella, so to speak. I haven't really looked at the brackets today, but like I said, I mentioned those teams that have lost. Houston's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
Of course, we mentioned Arkansas and Alabama. And, of course, the Duke Blue Devils are still in. Have you ever seen the documentary I Hate Christian Laettner? I watched that last week. I
have not seen it yet.
I watched a little bit of it.
It's on 30 for 30. I think it's quite a few years old, but it was pretty enlightening about it. I still hate him, but I like him a little bit more than I hate him, I guess. Put it that way. But I did watch that documentary. It was pretty good, and I still can't stand Duke. People are saying that Hubert Davis probably might lose his job for North Carolina.
Yeah.
You think that's going to be the case?
Yeah.
Had a 19-point lead, blew all of it, lost the game to VCU. and then VCU goes around and gets blown out in their next game. So,
Yeah, no, his job is probably done. Look, you're talking about North Carolina. This is what they do. Basketball's a top sport. They look to compete for national championships every year.
And I'm so glad.
Yeah, since UB Davis has been there, they've only made it to the tournament, I think, 2 or 3 times. And I think that's about as many times that Roy Williams has not made the tournament. So just can't happen. I like UB Davis.
I want you to mention one other big loss, Gonzaga.
Yeah.
And I laughed my head off because Mark Few, I'm so tired of him, just lifting him up to be this great guy, great coach, whatever. Dude, it's the same thing almost every year. Every now and then he'll rise up to the occasion where they'll get up to Elite Eight or whatever, but then they'll flop.
And when he's risen to the occasion of making it far, he's had an elite team, not just very good teams or whatever. He went and he recruited a lot of good players. So, it does kind of put a question on him as a coach and what can he do when he does not have that amount of talent. So, I don't know. Maybe it's time to. I guess for Gonzaga, no, I would say maybe it's time to part ways. But if you're Gonzaga, I guess you can't do that because he is Gonzaga.
Bring in and is he grew?
Yeah.
I know Zach Norvell on the bench, one of his former players, kid from Chicago. So he seems to be.
If you stay with Few, you're going to get the same thing. I brought that to Pepe the other day. I said, how many years are they going to give him? And there's a big debate going on that the Gonzaga is the Oregon Ducks in
yeah, I saw that.
You can't really compare the two, but as in the instance of making it to the tournament all these years in a row, and I think they made it to the finals twice and lost, and you can't win it. That's huge. How many years do you give a coach?
Well, in that case, sorry to interrupt. For Few, I think Mark Few is at the point where they're not going to fire him or replace him.
Right.
He's going to have to want to step down.
Yeah.
Well, that's
now he's made Gonzaga
do that behind the scenes some way, somehow, a la Pete Carroll, let's say.
Right.
But it might not end up well because he seems like the kind of guy that will he'll fight you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last thing you need.
You know somebody who I know would want to coach?
Who's that?
John Stockton. He would want to coach. I'm gonna tell you why. Every year that my sons played in Hoop Fest, he was there coaching his sons playing in Hoop Fest. He's huge in that area. So I'm sure if they offered him to come coach, he'd jump on it like a hot potato.
Yeah, because that would be my thing. If Gonzaga loses Mark Few, because they are a small mid-major school, you can't just bring in no willy-dilly assistant coach or somebody from a small West Coast school.
Right.
It has to be a big name to be able to keep that factory going and still be able to bring in recruits because they can't do that. You're not gonna the whole Gonzaga legacy will be tarnished and they won't be who they are anymore. So that's why if I'm Gonzaga, I'm not really necessarily pricing him out the door because we have to have a real life replacement for him because he made Gonzaga at the end of the day.
So what you're saying is they would go from being the Oregon Ducks of the NCAA basketball to the Huskies of the NCAA basketball.
Exactly. They would be an afterthought.
Because Huskies lost their mojo when they couldn't find a good coach for years, whether it was football or basketball, and the basketball's still struggling. How does your women's team make the tournament and your men's team still can't make the tournament? That's a travesty for the state of Washington for me.
Yeah.
I agree. There's no urgency behind men's basketball. Bringing Will Conroy should be
now that they have
the
tournament.
My bad. Yeah.
Well, Rhonda was asking me Hoop Fest versus NCAA. John Stockton's an NBA professional big name player. If they brought him in, he's got so much pull and so much how do you say that cachet?
Mhm.
Players would they would go there in droves to play for him. He knows basketball.
I believe if John Stockton, if he went to Spokane, the pipeline would still be open. Probably,
Right.
maybe open a little wider. That wouldn't be problem. I don't know his X's and O's and how he is as a coach, but yes, I'm saying that's the name of type of coach that you have to bring in to carry on what Gonzaga is doing.
Gotta
for
have
sure.
a name guy,
Right.
to replace.
And he's a big name guy in that area. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
He was a big name guy in high school.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Which was crazy.
Right.
Yeah, because he's the class of '80. He was a year behind me. So yeah,
Who do you guys?
You do get some NBA guys that have big names but can't be coaches.
No.
Oh no.
Can't
Patrick
be
Ewing.
Can't be owners. Michael Jordan. You know, one
Michael
of
Jordan. Yeah.
But he can sure own an auto racer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Won three titles already.
Right.
You know, first 3 races.
Right.
Champion. I'm like, what dang.
Who's your guys' favorite to win the tournament as we're going into the Sweet 16 now?
I got Duke in Arizona in the finals.
To be honest, I haven't looked. I don't know.
Okay. I'll give you the Final Four.
I've seen Arkansas. I'm really impressed with them. So, just by my eye test and from what I've seen, I'll go with Arkansas in one of the.
I'm shocked Alabama's doing as good as they are by losing their key player. They've stepped it up a notch too,
and they stomped.
Yes, you can't blink.
I'd like to see that matchup, Arkansas and Alabama.
But look at Iowa and Iowa State. They're playing.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
It's a tough.
It's gonna be tough. From here on, 16 to the Final Four, it's gonna get nitty gritty.
Yeah.
I got Purdue or Michigan making it to the championship on that right side, and then I think I'm gonna roll with the boys out of Houston to get to the championship. I don't know as of right now who's gonna win the championship. It's some really tough teams still left.
I got Arizona winning the whole thing, but we'll see. Okay. I gotta ask you a question before the show ends. So what's up with Cade in the NBA?
Collapsed lung. It looked like it happened. Got hit from behind. They found out.
How long is he out for?
No timetable, and I will not be surprised if they play this as cautious as possible, and he doesn't return maybe until the last week of playoffs, which probably will end him making an All NBA team.
Right.
So, but health is more important than him winning awards at this point. They are champion or making it to the finals or bust. That's what they're going for.
Right.
All right. So by next Monday, the Mariners will be what?
Yes, sir. 4-0.
Sweep of the Guardians, right?
Sweep of the Guardians, and they'll be winning that Yankees game on
first
Monday.
7 games, Guardians and Yankees, 5-2. So on behalf of Daniel, MCO, I'm Pep. See you guys next week. LidLine Sports, Rainier Avenue Radio.